Welcome to the Ask a Swim Pro show. My name is Ksebati, co-founder and CEO of My Swim Pro, and today we have a special guest, Elise Deering from the United Kingdom. How are you?
Hey, yes, really good, thanks, and thanks for having me. Yeah, excited.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Walk us through your swimming background, your swimming story.
Yeah, so originally I started swimming, competitive swimming anyway, when I was 8 years old. First got into it because my mum saw a notice board for the local swimming club at the swimming pool that me and my brother were learning to swim at. And literally just all kicked off from there, joined that club, few sessions a week, progressed to another club and then another club on top of that, counties, regionals, nationals, and then eventually made my first British team when I was 16 years old for European juniors. And yeah, since then I got into open water after that, and that's the event I'm doing now. I'm a marathon swimmer, so 10K, like the distance stuff basically. Yeah.
Nice. So marathon swimming is sort of its own sport in itself. What do you think the biggest difference is between training and competing in marathon swimming as compared to, the 50 freestyle?
Oh my God, wow. Literally polar opposite events, aren't they? Obviously the 53, I think everything has to fall in place and be absolutely perfect for you to go a good time or go a PB. Whereas with a marathon swim, you have a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity if something goes wrong to fix it, which is one of my favorite things about the event, knowing that I have control over that. Whereas a 53, I think the pressure to get everything absolutely perfect would be too much for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had any races where you feel like maybe you didn't start out the way you'd like to, but because it's a longer race and you can sort of make up for it and do better than maybe you expected?
Yeah, exactly that. I've in 2016 I became world junior champion, and literally in that race I made multiple mistakes. I'm not even going to lie; it was nowhere near a perfect race, but I managed to fix them when it was when the time was needed, and I got things done properly, I guess. So the result was good, but then the execution could have been better. But because of the nature of the race, it allowed me to get that right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you've competed in a lot of different, competitions all over the world. Any in particular that really stand out as highlights for you?
Wow, yeah. I think that there's two, to be honest. We got to go to the Seychelles 2 years ago for a FINA World Cup, and that was just stunning. The pool team have never got to go to Seychelles, so I always think that's quite a nice flex to say. And then there's another one that we did in Switzerland, which was literally a lake in the valleys of some mountains surrounding it, and it was stunning. So very fortunate sport in the sense we get some real natural beauty.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can only imagine, Swiss Alps swimming in the lake. That's a beautiful sight. For swimmers who are looking to maybe get into the marathon swimming or the open water swimming in general, what advice do you have if someone's just getting into it and they're a little intimidated by that concept?
Oh yeah, okay. So I'd say try and find a club or someone who does it nearby to you. Get in touch with them, find out how they're getting on with it, try and go along to some of their sessions. It's such a great sport, and it is so liberating in a sense, and thrilling. It just needs to be done safely. So I'd say reach out to people and make sure you do it safe. But honestly, get in and go have a go if you get an opportunity. I highly recommend it. There's something so fun and thrilling about it that you only really get if you experience it.
That's awesome. Just get in and go, find a buddy and make it happen. That's great. Tell us a little bit more about, swimming. You're really involved in the sport and a lot of different ways. Can you talk about some other things that you're involved with?
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate for diversity in swimming. I absolutely love the sport, and I want to see as many people involved with it as possible. See people learning to swim, taking on to club level, or maybe even international level. Absolutely every level, I want people involved at, and definitely in Britain, and I think with America as well, there is a diversity issue within swimming where not a lot of Black or ethnic minority people are involved within it. And that's something that's very dear to my heart. Being a Black woman, I want people to just experience the sport, give it a go. So I've co-founded the Black Swimming Association, which is a small non-for-profit that we literally just started up this year. And we're looking to be a strategic partner with bodies within aquatics to help bridge this gap of the lack of diversity within swimming within Britain, and then hopefully expanding on to the rest of the world someday. But right now we're trying to just tackle the UK problem.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about, what kind of motivated you to take this role and be a little bit more of an advocate? Because a lot of people look up to you now. So two questions: how are you managing that, and then what really inspired you as well to really take that push?
Okay, yeah. So what inspired me initially was I've always been a Black woman, and I've swam for 15 years. So I've experienced some issues along the way. And it got to the point where I was kind of like, I feel like I'm mature enough to be able to have these conversations and to raise this topic and have people listen to me. Whereas I could have started speaking about this like 5-6 years ago, but I don't think I would have had the same like power behind my words. And in terms of people looking up to me, it's quite exciting in a sense. Like it's exciting to be a role model, but then also quite scary at the same time. But I just want to do whatever can help influence and inspire younger people and even adults, like all across the board, to just get in and give swimming a go, because I really do love the sport, and I want to see it excel.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, growing the sport of swimming. So a lot of people look up to you, and who do you look up to? Who are your mentors or people that have inspired you?
So I guess the cliche typical one would be Serena Williams. I absolutely love her. I love like what she's doing for women's sport in general, the power that she has within not just her sport, but the culture of sportswomen. And I think just having a child and coming back to being on such great form like that is just so incredible. Then also in the swimming world, when I was younger, I used to really look up to a Swedish sprinter called Sarah. No, not Sarah Sjöström. Sorry. Oh my God. Therese Alshammer. Sorry, I don't know why I went blank there. Therese Alshammer, absolutely incredible woman. And like, I always just, I'd watch all the Europeans, Worlds, etc. on TV, and she always had the biggest smile when she came out to race, and it always just like lit me up inside. And I've always looked up to her. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about some of the organizations that I know you're involved with that connect everything that we're talking about, that really support and similar vision.
Yeah, so I'm currently partnered with a brand called Soul Cap, which is a swimming cap brand, which literally just makes caps for larger hair, essentially for Afro-Caribbean hair. And I think everybody's probably experienced this in their lifetime. A swimming cap just sometimes isn't big enough. It's definitely something I've experienced when I was younger, and even to this day. But Soul Cap have looked into this issue, seen how it has affected Black women within the community, and have made a bigger swimming cap for people. And I absolutely love it. I think it's such a great idea. And it's all about breaking down those barriers which stop people from swimming, because it sounds like obvious, but like if a swimming cap doesn't fit you, how are you going to want to go swimming anyway and get into it? So it's really nice that somebody's thinking about these issues for people.
Yeah, that's huge. I think let's go back to what we spoke about in the beginning, just trying to break down the barriers. And really for you, is you're trying to empower people to get in and go swim regardless of who they are. What are some other things, myths or, questions or comments that you hear, and you hear yourself saying over and over, like, no, that's actually not how it works. This is the reality. What are some of those? We can kind of clear some of those off the table.
Yeah, so I think the typical one for Black people is our bones are too dense, we sink when we get in the water, we can't float, we can't swim. And I always just think this is such a lie. It's literally such a myth and such a stereotype, which has been repeated to Black people over decades and generations, that swimming isn't a sport for them. And we literally have an Olympic champion, like in the 100 free, a woman, Simone Manuel. Like, I think it's quite obvious that it's a lie, and it is a myth. And I'd love to see this challenged more by not just myself, by other swimmers. And hopefully Black people soon realise that this isn't true, get in, give it a try, and like hopefully give it 5 or 10 years, it will just be, oh my God, I can't believe people used to think that, or I can't believe that was told to them, because it's just not true. Yeah.
Absolutely. Changing gears now, let's talk about training, and what does the current training environment look like for you?
Okay, yeah. So very fortunate to be back in the water, and I was one of the like elite few who were allowed back in early in the UK. So I've been back in since June. I think June. God, it's gone so quick. But it's going really well at the moment. Actually, I had 12 weeks out for lockdown originally, and I was terrified of getting back in. I think, as every swimmer would be, like 12 weeks is such a long time, and but it's gone really well, surprisingly. Got back into it really well. My fitness is a lot better than I was expecting. And I kind of feel like I'm back to where I was, not fully, but like I'm not a million miles behind that. And I really was in such a good place before lockdown and before the pandemic really kicked off, and was hopefully looking towards Olympic qualification. But, like no one could have predicted what was going to happen. So hopefully next year, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a once in 100-year event, right? Everyone's got a lot of uncertainty, but it sounds like you're managing well. What advice do you have for swimmers who maybe they took 12 weeks off, maybe they're still haven't been in the water, and they don't really know when they're going to be in the water next? Like, how do you kind of manage that? What advice do you have?
Yeah, so I would say do whatever little bits of fitness and aerobic cardio training you can. Keep your body in good nick. Don't push it to the limit, because it's just not worth it. And especially like myself, for example, I've only really ever swam. And so I attempted to do running, and it didn't go well for me. I think I even injured my ankle.
Oh,
It
no.
swelled up for like 3 weeks. Like, just be careful. And it's not worth pushing yourself on something like running or cycling, and then later leaving you out of the water because you've injured yourself. And don't be, it's not, I know it's daunting to have such a long time out. It's honestly not as bad as you think once you get back in. Like when you get back in, give it 2 weeks and the feel of the water will come back, your fitness will start coming back, and it'll start feeling natural again. So I think the short message is don't worry.
That's great. Yeah, don't overthink things you can't control.
Exactly
we talked about dispelling myths. One myth I'd like you to potentially dispel is for people think distance swimmers and marathon swimmers, they just swim 100,000 meters a week and they don't do anything else. There's no like what's it really like balancing swim, like in the water training, out of the water training, and what's your favorite out of the water training exercises?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that is a myth. Yeah, I don't do 100K weeks. Some marathon swimmers do. I personally don't. I don't think it works for me. It's a bit too much, and it changes my view on the sport. But anyway, so yeah, out of the water, I'm still at uni. I'm still studying. I've got 1 more year on my master's course at Loughborough, and I'm absolutely loving that. And I love having the education side by side with swimming, because I think it works really well for me. It gives me two very strong aspects in life which I can devote time and energy to, because otherwise I just think it becomes really imbalanced if I just have one thing going. But yeah, my favorite exercise out of water, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, is pull-ups,
Oh,
because
nice.
as much as I hate them, I'm really proud at how much I've progressed in them. So
Yeah.
I always like doing them because I want to get better at it. And literally when I was 18 years old, I couldn't do a pull-up. I not even like an underhand one, but
Yeah.
I really like progressed and got better at that. And eventually, before COVID anyway, I could do like wide grip 3 pull-ups, which I was super proud of. But that, like, obviously I've been set back because I haven't been able to do them for a while. But yeah, that'll be it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Pull-ups are great, especially for swimming. How did you go from not being able to do a pull-up to doing a pull-up? Well, I'm sure a lot of people are in the same spot. Like, I can't do a pull-up. How do I do a pull-up?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we literally had to break it down for me. So I think it's called eccentric pull-ups, where you jump up and slowly lower yourself down, so you get the benefit of that motion. And then I think I moved on from there of having a band like a resistance band underneath my feet, which I would like stand on, and it would do some of the work for me, but I still had to engage the relevant muscles to get it done. And then it honestly, it took a while, I'm not going to lie. Like it takes a good few months of doing this exercise about 2 times a week for myself anyway. And eventually I got to a point where I could do 1, and then I was like, oh my God, I can do 1. Let me try doing 2, and then 3, and then hopefully I'll get up to 4 this season. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think if you've got an S&C coach and you want to look into getting this exercise, I'm sure they'll have a way around it, a way for you to make this relevant and like get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything you said right there, it's true for swimming. it takes time. You have to break it down, focus on one thing at a time. And over a period of time, you'll be able to improve. That's awesome. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone who's supported you in your journey so far?
Okay, so I've got 2. Yeah, I'll do my first one to Loughborough Uni Swimming, because I absolutely love the team. I think it's such a great environment, and I really love being there. I'm coming up to I've done 5 years there, and I'm coming into my 6th year with them. And the fact that I'm still here obviously speaks volumes, so I absolutely love it. And then my second one would be to my mum, because she's been my rock throughout my whole swimming career, up with me at 4:30 in the morning, as swim parents do. Stood by me, encouraged me to keep going. And I always say my success is our success, like my mum's and mine, because it wouldn't have happened without her.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the Ask a Swim Pro show. You're an inspiration to many, and it's great to hear your story and everything that you're working towards. So we'll put all of your social handles, if you guys want to follow along, in the description. So make sure you can follow Alice on her journey. Alice Deering joining us from the UK. Thanks again, and happy swimming.
Thank you. Thanks.